All right, guys, so here we are. We are on to the next set of notes, right? So make sure you have paper and pencil out ready to record. And let's get started. All right, first thing we always do is identify the name of these notes, right? And these notes are called midpoint formula to find locations, right? So the world is so big that they use coordinates for cities, for locations in the world, right? And sometimes they need to find the midpoint between two cities, between two locations. And they use this formula. You know, this is where the formula is used in, it's practical. So we're going to see how that works, okay? So first thing we're going to identify is MP, right? We know that MP stands for midpoint, right? So the midpoint, as we found out the other day, is parentheses, right? X plus X divided by 2, right? Because we're finding the average. When we want to find the middle, we divide by 2. Comma, that's to find the X. This will help us find X. Comma, Y plus Y divided by 2 will help us find Y. I'm recording, guys. Okay? So this is what we're going to use to find our midpoint location. All right? So the instructions always, like we said, we always read the instructions first. Right? These instructions say find the midpoint city of the line segment between the city endpoints, right? So imagine there is a line between Boston, right? Boston is at 876, 811, and Durham, which is in North Carolina, which is 878, 45, right? So they want us to find Washington, right? Washington, D.C. Where is Washington, D.C.? So imagine, so the cities run along the East Coast. So imagine Boston is here, right? And there's a segment that goes down to Durham, right? And we know those two coordinates, right? We know Boston. We know where Boston's located. We know where Durham is located. So what we need to do is we need to find where Washington is. Right? Washington. What is the coordinates? What are the coordinates of Washington? So we're going to use our midpoint formula to find where Washington is. Right? This is what we need to find. Right? The midpoint. So we identify our X, Y on each coordinate. Right? That's for Boston. And that's for Durham, right? So let's use our formula. So let's find X first. Okay, so let's find X first. So I'm going to say X is equal to X plus X divided by 2. X plus X divided by 2. Well, our two X's are 876 and 878. Right. So I go here and I say 876 plus 878 divided by 2. Right? There you go. And here I'm going to use my calculator, right? Let's use our tools. Right. So 876 plus 878, right? And the whole thing divided by, see, this is where I forgot to put the parentheses, because look what's going to happen if I don't put parentheses. It divides by only 878. I want to divide by the whole thing. So this is where I need to add the parentheses, and I'm going to go add it in the beginning as well. Just like that. And then now what happens, look, at the end here, when I put divided by, it divides by the whole thing. And that's what I want, is equal to 877. So I found my x. Right? I found my x. Let me highlight a different color here. So this is green. So x is equal to 877. Right? X is equal to 877. So let's find our y now. Right? Y equals, well, to find y, we do y plus y divided by 2. So y plus y divided by 2, right? Well, what are our two y's? Our two y's are 811 and 45. So 811 plus 45 divided by 2. Right? And that gives us, again, let us use our tools. Let's not forget this time to use parentheses, so I could divide 811 plus 45 parentheses divided by 2. Oops. Oops, 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 oops. So let me, wait, can I go back? Yes. Here we go. Divided by 2. 428. Right? 111 plus 45 is 428. All right. So this is 428. So I go back. This is y equals 428. So our midpoint, right? Our midpoint is equal to x comma y, right? Which is x is 877, right? And y is equal to 428. Right? And this is where Washington, D.C. is at. Here we go. Look at that. We found the location, right? The coordinates for Washington, D.C. Right? And this is how it's used in the real world. This is how we use this midpoint formula to find locations, to find cities, right? In this case, we found a city. But if you're looking for the exact midpoint between Reseda High School and Northridge Mall, you can find the literal exact location, right? It might not be a store, it might not be a restaurant, it might be somebody's house, but you can find the exact midpoint location, right? So that's it, kiddos. Hopefully this makes sense. Rewind. Remember, if you're unclear on what to do, pause to make sure that you have all the notes. And thank you for being here.